am Brittney Harrison, the owner of RR Finances Incorporated.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, I have a woman that when we were going to South Africa recently, we met her on the plane. She was full of positive energy, great vibe, and she was going for a business expo. She's into credit repair. Miss Brittney is going to tell us everything that she does because she travels the world, so she must be like the queen of credit repair. And she might be a new neighbor of ours because we are looking for another place, y'all. Yes, another home. And we're looking in Atlanta so we can take direct flights from Atlanta to South Africa. So, Brittney, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Yes, thank you so much, Kellen, for having me, first of all. I'm feeling excellent, feeling positive, feeling motivated, and overall just blessed to just be here. And I'm just the spirit. So thank you again for having me.
Well, no, thank you. I love when I see our folks travel, and then I love when folks are entrepreneurs and they can, set their own schedule, as much as you can, because you're still dealing with people, not like, you're robots yet. But tell the people what you do and how you service and help the people.
Yes, so I have my own credit repair business. I've been in the business for the last 6 years. I help my clients with not only personal credit, but also business credit. What makes our company a little bit different, well, a lot different. For one, we lead with prayer. I know a lot of people believe in different things, but me personally, I understand and I know the power in prayer. So every single client that we encounter before we get off the call, whether they sign up or if they do sign up, we ask that if they are open to prayer and we pray with them. I'm going to tell you this, being in this business, I've realized that it's so much deeper than credit. It really is. We get on a call with clients and we may speak for about 10 minutes regarding credit, but then everything else is about just personal issues, the things that they are trying to overcome, the things that they want to set goals for, that they might have a little bit of a stumbling block, the anxiety that they're going through. Some of them come on the call crying. So again, I call myself more than just a credit expert. I'm a counselor, a helper, and, really a friend to a lot of my clients. So again, we help with personal credit, business credit, and then also with funding, helping people who are startup businesses with being able to get that extra capital so that they don't have to dig in their pocket.
Wow, you talking my language when you talk capital, because I tell people venture capital is not difficult to get if you have your plan together. But, now with the pandemic, everybody was running to the SBA. And I said, SBA has always been able to help you. But what y'all are talking about, you think the government's really trying to save you? They're not Jesus. So can you tell the people what type of funds you have access to? Because some people might get excited and say, oh, I get angel investors or venture capitalists, or, do you have some more, other ways? Maybe you have your own link, your own venture fund. Let's get into it.
Yes, so the company that I deal with, I'm gonna be honest, we are partnered with over 100 different companies that offer out lending. But can I be honest with you? And I know this might not be the answer that many people want to hear, but because the banks are so strict now, I always tell people, let's look at your personal report first of all. A lot of these companies want to know who is the owner of this company. Who is the owner of this company? So yes, we could get you funding. That part, honestly, I'm gonna be honest, Kellen, is not the hard part. What I'm noticing now, because there's been so many tricks in the system, a lot of scams, these companies are getting stricter and stricter. The requirements is not how it was 5 to 10 years ago, where you was able to get funding easy now, because they see a lot of people use their business credit and they really abuse it. I always tell people, let's look at your personal profile. So again, we have access to over 100 different lenders. I don't know them all off name, but I'm telling you, we could easily get you funded as long as your personal report is looking right. And some people may say, well, Brittney, I thought business credit was separate from personal. It is. It won't be reported, whatever you're getting funded for, whether we get you capital or the business credit cards. But again, they are looking at your personal profile. And I'm having a lot of people get denied. I'm just keeping it real because of that part, because they want to do a soft check over your personal. So during this particular interview, I really wanted to just stress the importance of us as an individual not dodging the bullet. I feel like a lot of us like to take different routes. We love the quick way, and really you end up coming right back full circle when you don't have your own personal things in order. Yes, it's a lot of quick ways to get something. Me, myself personally, I've had access over the last 6 years, not to brag, to close to $1 million in funding, right? But again, it started out with the individual, Brittney, making sure that her personal things was in order, not trying to jump and cross all of these separate hoops to try to get funding. So again, to just answer your question, the access part is not an issue. When me and you get done, I'm going to leave my information for anybody who's interested in scheduling a free consultation. But what will be included is us pulling up your personal report so that we can make sure you as the owner is looking correctly and right, so that you're able to get access to as much capital as needed. And I feel like that's a step a lot of people skip over. People who are in my field, they love to preach on, oh, the business part. Don't worry about being a PG. Don't worry about your personal. No, you need to be worried about your personal part. That part is the most important. You are the individual. If you can't manage your personal, right, what makes you think you're going to be able to manage $200,000, $300,000 in capital? You're still going to have to pay it back. Yeah, you could report bankrupt. We know all the little schemes to try to get out of trying to pay for things, but let's do better in this season. I want to try to preach on doing better in this season and really upholding and just having dignity when we get money from these different companies, because the money is there, but let's really uphold and have good dignity. And this is even me talking to myself.
Man, she's preaching, and you are talking, because I sometimes I might not be the kindest when I tell people how, I deal with clients who they can afford to pay our services, and I'm told they're high monthly. I say that's the starting package, but it costs a good amount of money to go to the next level. Mm-hmm. But even as a new sports agent, when dealing with athletes, and I grew up with athletes who went professional, mm-hmm. people can have $10 million easy and below that in less than a year. The financial literacy, what do you do to help your clients? What books are you telling them? What seminars are you telling them to check out? Because when somebody becomes a Allen Iverson and then they still have to work after they're done, and they're not even worth, whatever. I don't want to get into Allen's personal stuff, but what do you help the people with? Is it Dave Ramsey? Is it Susie Orman? Is it, I'll teach you how to be rich? What are you advising people to get on?
Yeah, so honestly, with my company personally, we have like a library of selective YouTube videos that I personally have watched over. I always tell people the school of YouTube. The people that you name are wonderful people, but I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really dug into their videos to say that they really helped me to be where I am. I'm somebody that loves to watch the smaller people, because I've noticed the ones who might not have the high numbers, and you know this even for yourself personally, are normally the people who are really talking the stuff, really the people that are giving the good information. So I would say to someone who is listening to this, and you might have an opportunity to come into some big money coming up soon. The key thing is not trying to get the money that comes, is keeping it. And I'm talking to myself again. I've gotten a substantial amount, and to be honest with you, Kellen, blew it. To the world, they might have not known, but this is just me rethinking over the last few years. And I'm like, Brittney, all the clothes you brought, some of the stuff that you brought was just it was frivolous. It was not needed. And if I could go back to that money and had a second chance, I have so many different ideas and things that I would have done. So to answer your question, I would say, don't overthink trying to educate yourself. We have so many different free platforms. A lot of people are not into reading. I'm just keeping it real. Reading is great, but a lot of people do better with watching videos. I know for myself, I might be busy. I'm a mom. Was a wife at one point. I'm a person who has hundreds of clients. I have staff. So I might not have the time to physically open up a book, but even if you went on YouTube and you typed in credit literacy, everybody is teaching something. And again, if you directly get in contact with me, I have about 20 different videos that I can send you that I personally watched that were really good, that saturated my mind. It helped me to change my thinking. And it just helped me to just realize that you want to live more than for the moment. And again, when we get this money, because a lot of us were not born into it, it's exciting. I know for me, you get funding and you check your account, it might have been $3,000 in it today. And you get that funding finally clear, and you go check your account in 5 days, and now you got $150,000. It's like, Whoa, you don't know where to start. You might have had a great plan, but then now that the money is actually in your hand, your whole plan just went out the window. So again, it's all about just little by little. Don't overwhelm yourself. Life is already overwhelming. Outside of just finance, we all got our own personal things going on. So just when you get time, instead of you watching your favorite shows on TV, even if it was 20 minutes just in the car, and you go in and he named some good people, David Ramsey, and then Susie Oldman. Those are good people, but again, you don't got to listen to those people either. You could just type in credit tips, anything. It might sound basic, but everybody is giving these different tips, and they really are good tips. Every little bit that you listen to, it'll be something else that you can store in your mind and then use it for later on. So again, I don't have just a whole plethora of people to just name off top, but if you just simply, again, everything is simple. It's really not that hard. Go on YouTube and type in some keywords. You will find it. It's all about you just digging in, listening to it, and then absorbing it and using it for later on.
Well, I'm glad because you've been through it. And that's why I look at finance as so tough, because I can remember a family member taking a credit card and doing, went to work and being at Grambling State. Like, I didn't do all that. And you can't say anything because that's family, that's close family. And I'm like, you just gotta, you have to learn how to clean your own credit up and do what you can, sometimes without filing a police report. But it is what it is. I'm glad you talk about yourself, because I want you to let people know you're a brave woman. I saw you on a horse in a cave. I ride horses. If that horse would have got buck in that little cave, thank God it didn't. But I was like, that's not a good place. It's a good photo, but it's not a good place to have a horse that you especially don't know. I live actually in Wellington, Florida. This is the home of horses. Like, dressage is everywhere. And when we watch the horses, I've seen some horses do some things. So I'm glad, but be careful in them caves. But what do you tell your clients when they come to you? And I'm projecting right now because it pisses me off. Client come to you in a very nice car, whether it's 60,000 or 300,000, and then you look at their credit, and then they want to kind of lowball the services you have. How do you deal with that? Because you're nice. Again, I try, but I just tell it like I got to be me, y'all. Like Frank Sinatra said, I just got to be me. So give the game on what do you do when someone has a $60,000, $80,000, $100,000 car, the Bentley truck, and then they got piss poor credit. Then they want to have you give them a discount.
That's a good, when I tell you that's a good question, and because I have a lot of clients who follow me on social media, and I follow some of them as well, I felt myself in the earlier years of my business get frustrated with stuff like that. Not necessarily them lowballing me, but what happened is payments decline monthly. And I would look and I'm like, wow, it's Christmas time. I see you done brought all this stuff for your kids, and that's great. But then when it comes to my little monthly, which I feel like is a little bit, because again, I'm changing your life. I'm removing all of this stuff, possibly offer your credit to next level you, and then your payment is not going through. So that's the excellent question. What I've come to terms with is, for one, if I have somebody who tries to lowball me, for one, I'm not trying to sell you a service, okay? At the end of the day, you reached out to us. I know for you, Kelly, you're not reaching out to these people. They're reaching out to you for your services. So that already lets me know you already know what I do, and you already know what I'm capable of doing, and you know that you need this service. So the first thing that I would do, if I knew kind of a little bit of that person's background, or I might look at their report and see, wow, they got a $450,000 house, but then they don't want to pay $149 to me a month. What I'll let them know is, for one, I like to give them the long-term part. The $149, and I'm just using my price for an example, it may seem steep to you, and you may find another company that may do it a little bit cheaper, but what I can speak to you on is, first of all, our integrity, okay? It's hard to find integrity. You already know this, Kellen, from being a business owner, and you around tons of them. Everybody speaks a good game, and a lot of people are not doing ethical work. So that's the first piece. You're giving me your personal information. You want to deal with somebody who is going to be very with very good integrity, because I have your social, I have your whole life, really, and I'm able to do good or bad with it if I was that type of person. So I like to speak to them on that. Once I give them that hey, you could get cheaper, but remember, you're giving your personal information out. Is cheaper always good? Once I give them that little piece, I can tell that the tone or the energy is being brought down a little bit. Then I let them know, hey, you have this vehicle. Let's keep it real. Remember, by seeing your finances, you're not really that good with your finances. I'm a sweet girl, but I like to also, like you said, keep it real. And sometimes you got to go there a little bit on people's level in a nice, respectful, professional way, but still giving it to them. So looking at your report, you're not that good with your finances. So this vehicle you have could be repossessed. Let's give it a year or two. Now, if we're able to help you save some money and dispute and delete all of these negatives off of your report, that money that you would have paid the debt collector, you no longer have to pay. So now you can use that money and go catch up on your car note, because I see you got a lot of late. See, sometimes you got to regurgitate the things that people have told you in a nice way, but give it back to them in their face, so that they understand that the price that I'm charging you is nowhere near compare the next level that I'm going to give you if you allow me to do my job. And so that normally, again, will tone down a person. And then if it doesn't, I'm going to be honest, Kellen, then I don't want the person as a client. And I know that for you, we don't want every client. You don't want every client. Some people are just going to be a nag. I'm just being honest, y'all. Sickening a little bit, especially when it comes to finances, where they want to know every single step of the way. And I might not have an update for you every 5 days. You know, you just got to let things go to course. So once I can tell that, hey, you seem a little bit on the fence, I always hit them with, you know what, then pray about it. I always hit people with that at the end, because guess what? I'm not going to beg you. And I noticed that when you beg people, then they really think it's a scheme. They really think it's a scam. So just lay out your services, listen to a person when they speaking to you in depth, so that you can regurgitate their problems. People need you sometimes to reiterate what was the issue to why they initially reached out to you. And then once you've done those two things, let them know you're ready for them to get started. And if they're not, hey, pray about it and come back to us if you decide. That's it. When you go to begging, it makes you seem funny and it makes you seem like a sketch. So I don't do any of that. I just lay out the services. And if it seems too good to be true, then hey, you're not the client for me. And I don't want every dollar.
Man, talk that talk, because if you have to beg, unless you're Lenny Williams, you shouldn't be begging, or a deep R&B singer, a real crooner. You know, you shouldn't be begging. You say, who's Lenny Williams? Y'all know Lenny Williams, Oakland's finest. You know this song, y'all.
One time things got so bad until
can y'all hear it?
I had to go to one of my friends.
That's Lenny Williams. I just want to give a piece, because he's an Oakland native like myself. But yeah, you should have to beg. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I've talked about it on my show that when people come to me and talk about credit repair, I've said some things where I've had very few people who do credit repair, because I find a lot of folks who do credit repair, their own finances aren't right. They're not going to South Africa. They're not going to the other countries I've seen you in. And I didn't have to see you on Instagram to say she'd be a good guest, because it was something in your personality that just was real deal. And you weren't trying to sell anything, you know, how's y'all credit, whatnot. First of all, I'm a qualified investor. My credit's all right. And, you know, I know plenty of people who'd want to deal with my finances, but it's a small team, because, you know, we growing. We got to get to that big, you know, Bill Gates team that he has. But what do you think about the credit repair business when you have so many people? Some people are on services, public services, telling others, hey, you need to get your credit right. You need to get it tight. I also can get you the trade lines for your business. Hey, man, your situation ain't right and tight. Do you think that's like a qualification you should have?
Kellen, when I tell you, you are speaking, it's like me and you are here. For one, I just want to say this to you. You are great at what you do. This is my first time really listening to you. And I'm like, wow, yes, you are a true natural. But the question, excellent question. Because again, because I've been in the business for 6 years, since 2016, I've noticed the business is getting more and more saturated, which is not bad. Again, We want people to get into things and we want to share the profit. It's more than enough. So I'm not saying this in a way to hate on anybody, but I'm gonna keep it real with you. I've noticed that a lot of people get into this business because it is good money. Everybody needs their credit repair, but then you don't have you as the owner with the integrity. It goes back to what me and you just spoke about earlier. You have to live by what you are preaching. And I want people to know, if you listening to this and you're saying, well, Brittney, I do need somebody to work on my credit, and I follow a couple of credit pages, but I don't really know how to differentiate. I always mess that word up, y'all. How to decide on who is legit and who's not. For one, let me tell you this. For me, if you follow me, Brittney Harrison _ on IG, in my story every week, y'all, I'm showing me paying back my credit cards. And I have high limits, y'all. I'm talking about high. So I like to show that. This past Sunday, I showed me paying back about $5,000 in credit cards. And I like to show that because, again, it shows you that if this young lady can pay this much back, I see her traveling, doing all this stuff, she's able to pay this back. Then for one, I know she has high limits. You're not going to be able to have high limits without great credit. So I'm bringing that up as an example. Make sure that you are watching and you are seeing the lifestyle that the person you are trying to sign up with, that they're living. A lot of people live behind this facade. And again, it could be fake. They could be faking it. A lot of people have the bags, the clothes, and they still don't have good credit. But I want you, that's where your discernment has to tap in. That's where your discernment has to tap in, and you can't be so quick to sign up with everything. Look at people's reviews. Go on Google. I have a Google, my Google rating, 5-star, over 75, all fives, not one bad rating. Now, of course, have I pleased every client? No, I'm just keeping it real. You can't please everybody. But overall, have I gotten great results? Am I doing my business ran by integrity? Yes. So to answer your question, you want to make sure that if you are somebody listening to this and you want to get into the industry, I'm not saying you need to have a 750 before you can start your credit business. But what I will say is, while you are working on other people's, make sure that you are your prime example. Start paying back on your credit cards. If you don't have credit cards, apply for some. How are you going to tell your clients to get credit cards and you don't own not one credit card? Again, y'all, Google is the school for everybody. So anybody is the expert. You could easily be the expert overnight. I need y'all to really dig in more. Look at reviews, really look at people's pages. Look at how Kellen gave me a video that I posted months ago, really a year ago, about me being in the cave on a horse. It let me know that, for one, he vets his people before they get on here. And I appreciate that. That let me know he didn't just, because he met me for 10 minutes in the airport, that now he wants me to be on here. No, he looked at my stuff. And so we got to get in the habit of looking at things. And I'm guilty of it, of being scammed and tricked. We got to look into things. And I'm telling you, God will give you discernment, that you will be able to tell the difference between somebody who just started something and they're not living it versus somebody who actually is. You will see different key points. You will see that their work ethic. You will be able to see, again, their lifestyle, not just flashy things, but other things, them paying back their bills. You don't want to be taught by somebody who's not living it. So y'all just have better discernment. And if you are looking to get in the business, I teach classes. I've taught over 40 different people over the last 3 years how to start their own credit repair business. So I'm going to give you the ins and outs. And even if your personal credit is not in order, that's my first thing, is for us to do yours. I want you to be a great example. And I'm telling you, your clients will come in return.
Well, since you talked about your classes, because right before this interview, I had, for my clients, my numbers out there. Clients' numbers aren't out there, but I was talking to somebody who they like to call periodically, and I say, book a session if you want me to really dive into that. I can't answer that because I'm a professional. If I give you the wrong advice, you're going to be looking at me and talking about me, and I have to focus in. I'm not even thinking about you right now because you're not on my agenda. But what do you say to those? And I'm trying to stop people from coming to you while they want to try to pick your brain before they try to book that session. Well, no, I'm going to book it, but what do you say? Because that's going to help the also young entrepreneur who's dealing with that right now, who doesn't want to be rude, but they don't know how to take, charge and say, my time is paid time, baby.
Come on now. Yes. And it's hard. You just said a key point, especially if you just started your business. I understand. I was doing a lot of free consultations, and then I was burnt out. I was a new mom, married at the time. It was a lot. So what I would say to you is delegate, for one. I'm so glad that I have a team, but if you can't afford to delegate at the moment, put your link in your bio and make people respect the link in your bio. And that's just period. And what I want you to also do is try to give out a lot of free information, good information. But when you give out just enough, it will then qualify you as the expert, and it will make people not mind booking that consultation. When we don't give out enough information, then that's what makes people want to have that one question, because you weren't clear on a lot of things. So for example, me with my classes, if you go in my link, I break it all the way down. I even have a video of me explaining what can you expect from this class, this one-on-one class. And then outside of that, then once you pay your deposit, then we can book a consultation. As Kellen just spoke, if we just get on a call, I'm a busy woman. So me just jumping on a call, you might not have my undivided attention. If you want my undivided attention and you want me to be able to thoroughly go over things with you, then it got to be a fair thing. So make people respect your time. Give out free information just enough so that you have made yourself into that expert and people don't mind following your directions. And then again, the bookings will come. Don't worry. Don't overdo yourself, because what'll happen is you'll get on these calls, spend more than 10 minutes, because the person will say they got just one question and it'll lead into 50 different questions. And then what happens, Kellen? They still won't book because you've given them too much. You'll notice that you're talking way too much. Now they really don't need you because you've answered that one question. So don't be so quick to just jump to anything. Give out your information just enough. Put your link in your bio and stick to it. Let people know you would love to speak to them once they get on your schedule, and they will have your undivided attention. And I'm telling you, people are respected.
And you know what it also does? I mean, you have a beautiful website, you have a setup, well laid out link tree, but it also makes you an influencer, and you never know. And I think I sent you an invite saying, hey, you ever want to talk about this to another audience? And I was talking about Phil's audience from the African diaspora, just to give everybody context because we were traveling. But, you know, this is the type of stuff that needs to be told. But a lot of times people get on YouTube for the mess. They want to know what Kevin Samuel said, what Tasha K said, you know, they want to hear what Lovely T said, but they don't necessarily. And again, I love all my influencers and YouTubers making that money, but they don't want to hear necessarily what could help their lives. Because let's talk about, if we're talking about a Kevin Samuels and people saying high value men and this and that, if your credit isn't right and your business isn't right, here you have Brittney, her stuff is tight. You saying you make a lot of money, but again, you said it's what you save and it's what you invest, is what I tell my kids. Why would Brittney want to be with you? You might be a high value garbage man, plumber, whatever. You could be an athlete, but your credit ain't right. So now she has to raise you. You know, TK Kirtland said, who raised you? Who raised you? Now the woman got to raise you, and you talking about you want her to cook, clean, and shut up. So can you talk about just any of that? Because I think all people in high school or middle school need to have a credit class. There needs to be a curriculum.
Yes, you tickled me with that. You named a lot of people who, you know, those are my guilty pleasures who I watch from time to time. But again, I've even had to check myself. Brittney, stay focused. It's good to dabble a little bit. Nobody wants to just always hear about credit and always the serious things. But you just said the key thing. And this is for women and men. It's a lot of beautiful ladies. I have friends myself who are bossed up doing a thing, but their finances is not in order. And me and you both know, you are married man, you know that when your finances is not in order, that is most of the time the arguments with relationships. That is normally the piece that breaks up things. And so if anybody is listening to this and you have a substantial amount of money, you're making good money, but you still have not worked on your credit and your parents didn't teach you this, like myself, you gotta break the curse. We gotta break the chains, y'all. We gotta start out with ourselves. It's not that hard. The first thing you need to do is get you a credit monitoring account set up. Pull up your credit monitoring. You can use anything. They have Identity IQ. They have My FICO, which is like the top one. You might have to pay the little $39. Pay it, y'all. It's worth it. Pull up your report. Look at it deeply. You already know what you owe. Come on, let's keep it real. But the good part about credit repair and dealing with me is even if you technically owe it, remember it has to be 100% correct on your report. So when it's not being reported correctly, that is how we are able to dispute and possibly get it deleted off your credit, okay? And when it's deleted, now you get to save all of those funds in your pocket. But I want us to think with integrity. Stop always just thinking because you got what you got by the look and you don't have the behind the scenes, which is your financial report card in order, then you're really not winning. You're not winning. And again, any of us who have kids, I like to always use this analogy. We are strict on our kids about getting good grades, having a great report card. What does your financial report card look like? And if you're listening to this, I want you to really just take a thinking to yourself. You don't got to say it out loud, but just think to yourself, when is the last time I looked at my credit report? A lot of times we avoid looking at it because we already know the damage. We know the late payments. We know the debts that we owe. And I'm talking to myself, y'all. I'm at a good point now, a great point. But at one point in time, 6 years ago, and I share my testimony on my page, I was messed up. I messed up my mom's credit, had a repossession, couldn't get into a basic apartment. It was just bad. But now look, 6 years later, tons of credit cards. I got about 14 credit cards, high limits. God has blessed me with my own office. I have 5 employees. My mom is one of them, worked for me for the last 4 years, full time. My mom has been working for me. I'm able to support and help my family. My dad, always giving him money. So I'm sharing this not to brag, but to tell you that life can change like this for the better. But you gotta put in the work. And you want to, especially to my single ladies and to my single men, make sure that you are whole as one first. Get your stuff in order. You don't want to be that person that tricks somebody where you look good from the outside and then you get with this person, ladies, and you're not that good. You're not good with managing money. All you do is spend, spend, spend. You don't have just a mentality of longevity, y'all. We got to do better with that. So if you are listening to this, do better today. Pull up your report on one of the sites that I gave you, or just type in credit report. You can also get a free report from all 3 bureaus from my annual, I believe it's my annual free report or something like that. Just type it in on Google and it'll pull right up. They'll send you a full free report, and they just look through it thoroughly, highlight what you see that you owe, and take it little by little. You can either try to dispute it yourself, just not online, because online you're really not going to get the deletions you thinking you're going to get. But you can try to dispute it yourself, or you can reach out to me. I have a free ebook that I'll send you that actually gives you real steps. No fluff. I hate all this fluff that everybody likes to sell that's really not telling you anything. Really direct, giving you the right steps to do it. Or if you say, Brittney, I'm too busy, I can always do it for you. But I want us to start, again, not just looking the part with me traveling to South Africa, but imagine maxed out credit cards. Imagine car about to be repossessed. What is that? You know, that's not a way to live. I want to feel good when I wake up that I'm actually living what I'm preaching. And so I want you to do the same.
Man, this is good game. I have to ask you, because you mentioned it, what is a community give back that you're doing or that you would like to do? You mentioned helping out family and the free ebook. That's a great give back. So if there's anything else, because I've never met somebody who is winning who isn't giving, you know, something. So what for you, even if it's in the future, what is something that you're doing or you'd like to do?
Yes. So for me, I'm gonna be honest. I have in my bio, I'm a philanthropist. I say this, I do a lot in secret and I do a lot in open, not to brag, but I want to challenge people to be big givers. So one of the things that I've done now recently is I've paired with a domestic violence shelter, and I have to where we do 10 women complimentary a month. I've given them tons of clothes. I got more clothes to give them. I told y'all I used to have a shopping problem. But anyway, outside of the clothes of me giving, I said, you know what? These women are in situations that they need to get out of ASAP. Of course, the shelter doesn't let them stay in there but so long. So what we are doing is 10 complimentary women a month. We rotate. After we do 10 women, they get 6 months complimentary for free. And we repair their credit completely, not free of charge. Get them situated so that they are able to move into their own places. Again, these ladies have children in this shelter. And so that's one thing. Another thing is we've paired with a halfway house. I'm very near and dear to my heart is people who are in prison. I've never been to prison, but God at a young age just always put that on my heart, where I've always just been so drawn to people who were locked up. Not really drawn to them, but just their stories. I'm one of them people that love to watch all kind of things on TV, just, you know, those different documentaries. I've also volunteered when I was in college. At the church that I was going to, we used to always go to a church every other Sunday, and I was the only lady that was there. Everybody else was either guys, and I would go and we would just do praise and worship with the prisoners and everything. It was like a whole church thing, but nonetheless, God always just put that on my heart. And so we've recently paired with a halfway house. And if anybody's not familiar, halfway house is just the halfway part, the halfway mark. Once somebody is released out of prison, they are able to now still be in society, but they still have rules and regulations until they fully are free and live in their own place. So in that middle part, that is where we come in, work on their credit for those who might have debt. Some of them don't because they've been in there so long. So we help them with rebuilding it, and it's completely free. And so again, you just hit a key part, Kelly. I've noticed that the most successful people are big givers. And so I want to challenge you wherever you are, even if you don't have that much. And you may say, well, Brittney, I'm not on your level. It doesn't matter. God wants us to practice being givers. Even if it's just your time, it doesn't have to always be monetary where it's money. Your time, your knowledge, just any little piece that is extra that you're not receiving back. God looks at that, he admires that, and I'm telling you, you're going to notice him 10 times it. So those are the two things that we are currently working on with our finances.
And Brittney and I might be clones or something, because I love all of that, and so there's some things that can't be talked about, but I watched all those lockup shows and everything, and I even did a treatment for the Writers Guild where I wanted to have a show on the halfway house, because I said this is just entertainment. I was young too, they laughed me off the thing. It's gonna come where they're gonna let open this thing where I can show the halfway house, but I'm gonna have the Muslim with the white supremacists in the same room, and they're gonna have to work out them issues. They're gonna have to figure it out. And because we have more alike than we are different, let the people know, because I don't want you to give too much game. I want them to go check out the beautiful things you've laid out online and then become a customer. Let them know where they can find you. I'll have the links in the description, folks, but let them know, and we'll go from there.
Yes, you guys can find me on Instagram, Brittney, BRITTNEY Harrison, HARRISON_. That is my name on Instagram, and that is actually my name on Facebook, just without the underscore. Please follow me on my business page on IG. It is RRR Finances. Just put in 3 R's in the word finances on Instagram, and I would love to connect with you. I'm telling you, I'm not somebody that is just so above. I was not too far away from those situations. It's only been 6 years. But again, I'm sharing that to tell you that God can drastically do a change. Just make some full effort today, y'all. A lot of times we don't wake up and put effort. Wake up today and put some kind of effort. Do a little bit something different than you did yesterday, and do something for somebody else. A lot of us just all be about ourselves. Today, do something else. It could be something very small to you, but I'm telling you, God will honor it. And I challenge you to do that today. So please follow me and let's connect.
You guys have been blessed by the game. Make sure, whether you are watching this, YouTube numbers are kicking up, but we're still a 2% podcast, top 2%, that is. But you might be listening on iTunes, iHeart, our latest partner in Sierra Leone, Freetown at AYV Radio, Salone Bobo, Salone CC. Y'all make sure you share this game. It's all good. It will change somebody's life. Be blessed, y'all.
Are you tired of the violence, tired of the injustice, police brutality, rampant discrimination, lack of gun control in this failed biased socioeconomic experiment called America? Or maybe you need a break from the relentless grind and want to regain control of your destiny, your wealth, your health, and your purpose. Diversifiedgame.com has the right course for you. Prepare for my first trip to Africa. Looking to reconnect with your roots, start a new business, or just a fresh start. Africa, aka the motherland, is waiting. Don't let the Chinese and the Mzungus have the fun and also take over the motherland. From Cairo to Mombasa, from Dakar to Cape Town, Africa has something for everyone, from business opportunities to the most amazing people, safety, leisure, and landscapes. The opportunities abound. It is time for the diaspora to reconnect with their roots. Time to reconnect with the birthplace of humanity. Africa is the last frontier. Get your head in the game and reclaim your legacy. The writing is on the wall. Babylon is falling. Give up the stress, grind, and violence inflicted on our people on this continent, and prepare for a journey of restoration enjoyed by connecting with the land of your ancestors. Check out our new course and kick off your adventure at diversifiedgame.com.